AI is not free. Somewhere right now, more electricity than an entire country uses in a year is being consumed by a digital world most people never see. There is no smoke above it, no sound you can hear, and yet it never stops. Picture the United Kingdom. Nearly 70 million people. Every home, every hospital, every train, every factory, every glowing office tower in London at midnight. Add all of it together, everything Britain plugged in and switched on across an entire year. And in 2024, that came to roughly 319 terawatt-hours of electricity. An entire industrial nation running for 12 straight months. Hold that number in your head, because here is the strange part. According to the International Energy Agency, the world's data centers are projected to consume around 485 terawatt-hours of electricity in 2025, more than all of Britain. Not the homes, not the factories, not the cities, only the facilities that run the internet and, increasingly, artificial intelligence. A hidden electrical country, larger than the United Kingdom's annual demand, built from nothing but servers, and almost no one can tell you where it is. This is the cost no one shows you. Now shrink it back down to something you recognize. You ask a chatbot one question. It feels like magic. No smoke, no factory floor, no sound, just a clean, weightless answer arriving on a smooth pane of glass. But the magic is a trick of distance. Hundreds, maybe thousands of miles away, electricity is being pulled hard from a power grid. A silicon chip the size of a fingernail heats up. Fans begin to spin. Cooling systems wake. Water moves through industrial pipes. And a vast, windowless building does the heavy lifting you never have to look at. We were sold a gentle word for all of this: the cloud. It sounds like weather. Floating. Soft. Free. But artificial intelligence does not float, and it is not free. It is steel and concrete, copper and rare earth, transformers and coolant and fenced-off land. It obeys the laws of physics like everything else that has ever done real work. The intelligence is artificial. The cost is entirely real. It only looks clean to you because the heat, the water, and the strain happen somewhere else, to someone else. A single prompt feels like nothing. And on its own, it nearly is. The trap is multiplication. Your one question is joined every second by millions of others. People drafting emails, students checking homework, companies running models in the background of software you didn't even know was thinking. The true cost of artificial intelligence was never in one question. It is in the staggering scale of the whole system answering all of them at once, and in how fast that system is growing. That 485 terawatt-hours is projected to climb toward 950 by 2030, roughly double in 5 years. And the share driven specifically by AI is expected to grow even faster, close to tripling. Picture what doubling actually looks like. Not a taller bar on a chart, but new buildings rising across desert and farmland, new transmission lines cut over hills, transformers the size of houses humming behind chain-link fences. We are taking the most power-hungry technology humanity has ever built and threading it into search, email, customer service, coding, homework, everything. If artificial intelligence becomes part of everything, then its appetite becomes part of everything too. A cost that once belonged to a handful of specialists is quietly becoming a permanent line on the ledger of the entire economy. To understand why we can't see any of this, we have to look backward. In the industrial age, energy was honest. Progress was loud and filthy and impossible to ignore. It ran on coal and fire and steam. You could hear the factory from the next street. You could feel the heat. You could breathe in the price of advancement. Then came electricity, and it performed a quiet miracle on the human mind. It made power feel clean. The customer flipped a switch and saw a light bulb. Not the power plant burning fuel 100 miles away. Not the dammed river, not the mine, not the smoke. The work did not disappear. It simply moved out of sight. Artificial intelligence is now doing the very same thing to thought itself. We have separated the answer from the labor that produced it. You see the finished sentence. You never see the infrastructure working behind the screen. We did not eliminate the heavy machinery of progress. We only learned how to hide the smoke. And that infrastructure runs hot. Every calculation consumes energy, and almost all of that energy eventually becomes heat. Stack billions of them together every second of every day, and a single facility becomes a furnace. If that heat is not pulled away constantly, the chips throttle, then fail, then burn themselves out. So the industry reaches for two things to keep them cool: enormous amounts of energy and water. Some facilities recycle what they use, others rely on evaporation, where much of that water simply rises into the air and does not come back. This is why researchers at the United Nations and reporting by Reuters carry the same warning. The electricity and water that data centers consume could roughly double by 2030, driven by AI demand. And here is the part the corporate sustainability reports tend to skip. A clean kilowatt hour is not automatically a clean liter of water or a clean acre of land. A facility can run entirely on solar power, look flawless on paper, and still place real pressure on the land and water around it. That matters most exactly where it can least be afforded. In many places, cooling draws on the same local water systems that farms, towns, and ecosystems already depend on. Build enough of this infrastructure in a region under water stress, and the servers behind your emails begin to compete, quietly, with the people and the land that were there first. The cost does not vanish. It lands on whoever was already standing closest to the edge. So who pays the bill? You might pay $20 a month for a subscription. That fee does not come close to covering the real cost of the system. The real bill goes first to the grid. As these facilities draw country-sized blocks of power, local networks are pushed to their limits. In Ireland, data centers already accounted for more than a fifth of the entire nation's electricity by 2023. Holding a grid steady under that kind of load means new transmission lines, new transformers, billions of dollars of upgrades to infrastructure that, in much of the world, was built half a century ago and is quietly nearing the end of its life. Someone funds that. Usually it is the public, through their bills and their taxes, long before the public ever sees the benefit, and it is paid again by the towns that share their water and by the natural world that gives up its land so the servers can keep running. What is taking shape is one of the largest and fastest infrastructure build-outs of the modern age, and infrastructure on that scale is never settled at a checkout. It is paid in decades, in public money, and in resources that never appear on any invoice. We are usually reassured that efficiency will rescue us, that the next generation of chips will do the same work for less power. But history keeps teaching one stubborn lesson. When a resource becomes more efficient, it becomes cheaper. And when it becomes cheaper, we do not use less of it. We use far more. Cheaper computation will not shrink the system. It will only push us to build it bigger and to ask it harder questions. None of this means artificial intelligence is evil or useless or going away. It is genuinely powerful. It is genuinely useful. Its spread into ordinary life is probably inevitable. But inevitable is not the same as weightless. We have to stop pretending this thing lives in the sky. It lives in buildings, on land, on the grid, and in the water that towns and farms were already counting on. And the bill is already coming due, somewhere downstream of the screen you are reading this on. It is not floating, it is not clean, and it is certainly not free. The machine never disappeared. Only the smoke did.